5 minutes in support of the amendment.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I will continue to say I don't think that this bill, this amendment, should be controversial. The legislation is as straightforward as it gets. It simply states that if you're providing evidence-based medicine to children under your care, then the federal government will fund your residency training program. But if you choose instead to encourage and facilitate dangerous and permanent changes to a child's physiology, taxpayers should not be forced to fund that program. That's not controversial. It's common sense. Now let's delve into the issue at hand. I'm talking about so-called gender-affirming care for children, which in reality is nothing but pseudoscience parading around as legitimate care. It's a facade, plain and simple. True evidence-based medicine relies on systematic reviews. That's the gold standard for assessing a substantial body of evidence. And here's the kicker. All 5 of the genuine systematic reviews conducted on child sex change procedures arrived at the same conclusion. The evidence has alarmingly low quality, specifically the evidence that it has any benefit for them. So here's the problem. Radical ideologies have infiltrated our medical societies and children's hospitals, driving them into a state of madness. It seems the United States is alone now in presuming that every child with any level of gender discomfort automatically has diagnosable gender dysphoria, and that therefore that child needs chemicals pumped into their body or surgery done on them to permanently disfigure them, rendering them unable to produce children in the future. That is the opposite of the do no harm principle. We need to acknowledge a truth here, one that might make my colleagues somewhat uncomfortable. We're irreversibly disfiguring children based on a temporary ideation. We're causing permanent damage that stunts their development, harms their skeletal structure, and robs them of the ability to start a family. All of this in pursuit of some idea of compassion. Dr. Hilary Cass, a highly respected pediatrician and former head of the Royal College of Pediatricians and Child Health to the UK, highlighted in her 2022 report that the unsafe conditions in British pediatric gender clinics stemmed from the adoption of the affirmative model that originated here in the US. Our peer countries are practically shouting at us to put a stop to this madness. They find it utterly baffling that we just assume that an 11-year-old possesses the maturity to fully comprehend a decision that will make irreversible, drastic changes to their bodies. We need informed consent in medicine. We need physicians who are thoroughly informed, and we need parents who are equally well informed. The United States should be leading on this issue, but it's leading in the wrong direction. That's why we're hitting the stop button. We're saying we should not be pouring taxpayer dollars into institutions that are carrying out procedures devoid of any solid scientific foundation. That's not a crazy thought, considering when you poll the American public, 70% are opposed to this. All this bill does is say taxpayer dollars that everybody contributes to should not be used for something that 70% at least of the population of America opposes. So let's bring back sound science, informed decision-making, and a responsible allocation of resources and tax dollars. It's time we protect our children, and with that, I yield back.
Gentleman yields back. Is there any discussion? I recognize Ms.